Chapter 1069. He was going to let these bastards know just whose territory they were messing with. These idiots had the nerve to use brute force in a time like this. Everyone else burst out laughing at Jan's words. Now that Ryder had lost, Jamari's pre-sanctuary level skills seemed goldy to everyone in the hall. On top of that, few Special Forces officers had arrived. These idiots would be dead for sure, even if there were more people like Ryder. To think that they had been foolish enough to challenge the authority of the government. Wilbur took in the sight of the smug crowd, then slowly got to his feet as he looked around. I guess birds of a feather really do flock together. What the fuck do you mean by that? Vale flew into a fit of rage, shouting at Wilbur. Everyone else glared at Wilbur as well, having half a mind to rip this guy a new one themselves. Hugh's expression darkened even more. He was the person in charge of Denson City, and this guy was clearly challenging his authority by speaking like this. Jamari shouted as well, "Would you like to die too?" He pointed his sword at Wilbur, and an overwhelming sword aura surged out. Just then, however, a spiritual spear appeared in Wilbur's grasp. A murderous aura overtook the room at once as a deep fear seemed to strike every single person in their soul. The crowd trembled. The next second, however, the spear shot out of Wilbur's grasp, whistling as it flew towards Jamari. An ominous feeling washed over Jamari all at once, making all the hairs on his body stand on end. Amidst this terrible fear, Jamari unleashed all of his spiritual energy. Runes appeared on the spiritual flames on his sword once again. Jamari let out a howl, swinging 100 sword shadows toward the long spear in a single move. To everyone's shock, the spear seemed to tear through the net of Jamari's sword shadows to pierce through his body. It even shot through the wall behind him before disappearing into thin air. Jamari stared incredulously at the gaping wounds on his chest as blood flowed out, slowly collapsing to the ground. The crowd could hardly contain their shock. Wasn't Jamari at the pre-sanctuary level? How had he been taken out just like that? Amidst everyone's terror, Wilbur grabbed Jan by the collar and yanked him over. Jan's soul nearly left his body as he trembled in Wilbur's grasp. Wilbur leaned into Jan's ear, whispering, "Is the Kiwanis Club really all that great?" No. It's not," Jan stuttered. Wilbur continued, "Don't think for a second I don't know about the bullshit you pulled. I'm going to kill you today as a warning to the Kiwanis Club. If I find any evidence about them plotting to have me assassinated, I'm going to have you all killed." "What are you talking about? I don't understand anything," Jan said shakily. Wilbur responded with a punch to Jan's chest. There was a loud thump, and a mist of blood exploded from Jan's back, with his heart crushed from the attack altogether. Wilbur then released Jan and his corpse collapsed limply to the ground. The crowd stared at him in a daze as the entire room turned deathly silent. All of a sudden, Hugh shouted in a rage, "Shoot him! Come on, make it rain bullets till he can't move."